And we are live right here on location at the Executive Banquet Center here in Newark, Delaware. And I am here with entrepreneur and business and life coach and now marketing guru, Joe White. Joe, welcome. How you doing?
Hello, Bob. How are you today, man?
I'm doing really well, and thanks for coming out today. And we're going to have a really exciting time here talking about a lot of different things. But first, let's start with Get Life Coaching.
Right. I just want to say, this is a network event.
Yes.
That you put on today, and it's crazy the energy here, man. It's just like I'm going to Spain in about 3 hours. I'm so disappointed I'm not part of this.
Well,
so I'm kind of like bittersweet. I'm excited to be here, but I'm like, oh my God, look at all this crazy stuff going on.
And what it is, it's our fall showcase. We're doing it in conjunction with the Middletown Area Chamber of Commerce. This is the first time we're doing one of these together.
Two great chambers.
They
Absolutely.
are great, and we are we love doing things with them. Yeah. And today we've got 42 vendors, I believe it is, here today. It's open to the public. It's free. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then it's called the Taste of the Chambers. So we have like 7 different food and beverage places that are going to be giving out samples. So.
It's the work that both the chambers do to really help the small business. And that's the key, right? I started my small business 20 years ago, right? 1999. I overcame a drug addiction, alcohol problem, overdose. I lived in New York City. I overdosed, died, resuscitated, moved out in New York City. My addiction followed me, right? It's like one of those old VH1 behind the scenes stories.
Is that one of those things that just leaves you leave it behind?
I thought New York was the problem. I didn't realize the problem was that guy in the mirror, right? And eventually I was in my apartment in a small town in Delaware County where I grew up. I was depressed on antidepressants, seeing psychiatrists and psychologists. And I saw an infomercial on TV, and it impacted me where I bought those tapes. It took me a few months. And I began, because it was the first time I realized that, from a human behavior standpoint, we can change. And this is not a knock on therapists, because I've trained so many of them, right? But there's quicker, faster ways. And I began studying a lot of different tools and a lot of different disciplines. In 1999, I opened up Get Life Coaching. No one knew what coaching was. I would come to this event and people would think it's like a sports where they couldn't grasp the concept of it. But we're able to help people who couldn't be helped, right? I've been to 7 therapists in 10 years. We're getting divorced. I'm addicted, all those types of things. We built up an amazing organization. Probably about 10 years into it, we started working with some real prominent business owners of real recognizable local firms here in Delaware. And because business owners were so out of balance, we spend so much time focusing on our business, we neglect other areas, right? Health, relationships, spirituality, those things. And I was helping them. I helped them, and they were like, "Hey, my business partner is more screwed up than I am." Right. So we helped them, and then I got my department. So we got into business back end, and we started doing more and more work for businesses. So we've done stuff like Google, GE, Heineken, like the global levels, to the small entrepreneur here in Delaware. But probably about a year and a half ago, we really started focusing on sales. I spent 2 years as one of the featured speakers on the Small Business Expo, 18 shows a year, traveling the country. And business owners, we struggle because we wear so many hats. You see that. You have an amazing staff, but there's not enough time. And we can't, in a perfect world, you would hire 5 more people and do everything as efficient as you can. But budgets don't always match what our dreams.
Me 5 times. Right?
Absolutely. And Pam.
That's
right?
Yep.
So we start doing a lot of business. About 70% of my business is business coaching today. By me, we have other coaches that handle the personal coaching. But here's a challenge. I would sit down with someone, tell them exactly what to do. They will come back the next week and not do anything. Right, because they either don't want to do it, don't have the time or the desire,
or they get pumped up for a week or 2, and then they just don't follow through.
Because that's not their expertise.
Right.
Your expertise is connecting people and helping them, small businesses thrive and grow.
Right.
It's not social media content, writing. It's not graphic designs.
Right.
So we launched a program called Profit Gorilla, and the website is theprofitgorilla.com, and it really focuses on. We take it all from you. We're done for you. We're not social media, even though we do post social media posting. We're not a landing page creation company, even though we do that. We're not a graphic design company, even though we offer that. And we offer unlimited everything.
Right.
And that's really kind of like the key thing. You get all of that. What we do is help one thing, really 2, drive sales up. That's what we want to do. We want to drive sales. You can have 100 people that liked your post, but if it doesn't convert, something's wrong.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because a lot of people sit there and go, well, I can get you 10,000 likes. You know what? 10,000 likes with one person responding doesn't do me anything. I'd rather have 100 likes that are all interactive and responsive.
And there's a science to it and the mechanics. And it's really about bringing people into deeper conversations, deeper what we call rings of engagement. Because the more they get to know you and see you and experience you, the more likelihood you can close them. If they don't even know who you are, you're just like every competition, even though what you do has a competitive advantage.
Correct. You have to set yourself apart in so many different ways nowadays.
But they don't know that through anyone can look good on social media. There's so many softwares out there that you can create great pictures and memes and content like that. So it's hard for that new potential to reach out to you and really know your difference. So we started Profit Gorilla, where we're a done-for-you agency. We do it all we do it all for you, but with you, because you're the expert, Bob. You know your brand better than anybody else, but you may not always have the time or the understanding of how to translate it in a way that you can put into a sales process and a way that converts. So we're real good at pulling it out of you and systematizing it and populating out, whether it's graphic design, landing pages, squeeze pages, social media, or any other vehicle out there, so that we can drive people in and you can increase your sales.
And that's a big thing nowadays. I mean, people don't realize, that there's, they think you send an ad out and you're supposed to get a whole bunch of responses. They don't realize that it takes 5, 6, 7 times to reach a customer before you actually get them. The cost of acquisition, is high. And I it's funny because I always sit there, companies like, the cable company, I'm not going to mention any particular names, but, they give all their new clients an opportunity to get these special deals and these programs and all that, but it costs more to acquire a new customer than it is to retain the customer you already have.
3 to 1. That's the numbers. Right, exactly. And I think the challenge comes in is the fact that, from that, like I said, from the outside in, everybody looks the same. Now, the problem is there's 2 ways to grow a business. You could be like one of those conglomerates out there and just throw money at a problem. It's $1 million ad campaign. If it doesn't work, we write it off. It's okay. It's in our budget. You and I, we can't do that, right? Because, we're working on tighter budgets, tighter margins. We got to protect
maybe
that.
1% of that, if that.
Exactly. Right? We got to pay attention to our margins and what we put out. So we don't have tons of cash. So the other side of the coin is we have to be extremely efficient. We got to understand who our ideal client. And we do that when someone rolls in Profit Grow. We take them through a process called the Branding Factory 360. And it's a 360 evaluation of your brand so we get an understanding of it and really understand who's your target market and what message they need to hear. Because if you're a vegetarian, I can tell you about my great experience in Del Frisco's in Philadelphia. I took my whole team down there, my favorite restaurant, right? But you're not going to pay attention to that. Or I can send you an advertisement on a refrigerator. But if Bob Older is not looking for a refrigerator, he's going to pass by that. So it's understanding the psychology and putting that message out there so that people will listen and pay attention, get curious, and take that next step in. Because if not, it's like meeting a girl or meeting a guy, or whatever gender preference you have. And on the first date, you get them in the car. Say, I think I'm really going to like you. Let's go to Vegas and get married tonight. That's what it's like. You got to nurture that. And there's science to that. And that science, when you work it, allows that process to become easier and more effective and efficient.
And the other thing that I've noticed is a lot of people who try to do things on their own will focus in one area. They'll do one social network. They'll do one thing. I'm assuming you're taking this and putting it across the board.
Comprehensive. That's why we offer, like I said, unlimited graphic design, unlimited social media platforms, unlimited social medium postings, unlimited landing pages, because to me, it doesn't care. I don't care. I don't care what it takes. I care about the end result because I don't look at it through the eyes of a marketer. I look at it through the eyes of an entrepreneur. And you can have a great event, but let's be honest. You might be able to get away with a few of these, but if it doesn't convert to profit, then the math doesn't add up. You can't sustain your business. You can't feed your family that way. Right. So I look at through an entrepreneur, and everything to me comes in like, what's the return on my investment?
Right. And let's talk about landing pages a little bit, because that's in the digital marketing age, it's really hard for people to say, well, I'm getting money from this. But a landing page actually is a way of targeting and seeing what market you're getting from what thing. So if you've got 10 different ads, that you have them all go to an individual page, and they can go to an individual landing page, and you could say, wow, this page brought me in a 3% return or a 5% return or something like that. Is that kind of where you're going with your product?
So a landing page, for people who don't know, landing page, squeeze page, things like that, is a 2-3 page website that is really designed to get people into a sales funnel and offer upsell and downsell opportunities. Whether you do it as an opt-in, trying to get their email information and contact so you can do an autorespond email campaign, or you're trying to move them through a process. And what it does, it becomes very focused. Think of guardrails. And like web pages are important, but the problem with web pages is people tend to make them informational. Mm-hmm. And you have to hope that person finds that product and stays on that. And in my world, hope is not a strategy. I don't want to hope this is going to be successful. I don't like that. I want to hope that my plan lands safely in Spain, right? It's kind of scary, right?
So I just got back from London the other day.
I saw. Go Eagles, man! Your pictures were great, man. I wish I could have went.
That was fun.
So a landing page is a great tool to help target that, so they don't get lost in all the stuff on your page.
But then the landing page could also move you from that funnel to your main page, and that's what a lot of times they'll do.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily move it to my main page. I'll move it to an offer.
Right.
Okay. There's always going to be an offer associated to it. It could be download my free book. Here's my email. Right. Download. Get this at a lower cost, and you can upgrade to that.
Right.
So it's really a sales process with a single strategy.
Right.
And versus just kind of dumping someone into the mall and hoping they find the store.
Right.
It's like, if you had a store, you could just send people to the Concord Mall, right? Or Christiana Mall, right? Christiana Mall was bigger. Yep. And you hope that they find your store. But then they walk by my favorite store, Apple store, and go, oh my God, and fall in love with the Apple Watch and spend that money they want to spend on you.
Because they couldn't find where you are.
Or they just never got to you. They got hooked by that.
Right.
Or they could go by the food court and go, I'm hungry, and get some Chinese food, right? And get tired and go home. It's versus driving that person there, walking them to your car and taking them over to the display rack where what you're selling. That's probably the best analogy for that. And then talking to them and guiding them and making sure it's a good fit for what they do. That's what a landing page does. And there's a lot of great courses and companies out there, but here's what studies have shown. People who do an online or live course, right? The average person follows through. That means what I've learned to what I implemented is 10%. Is 10% of the people actually, or they utilize only 10% of what they learn.
Right.
So there's a lot of inefficiencies there. And I said, if you're not a graphic design, don't do graphic design. If you're not a website builder, don't do websites. Right. If you're not into landing page, don't specialize your best. Like if I was your boss, I wouldn't want you to do any of that stuff because you're best at connecting. Right? Connecting business people to people, businesses to business, and help them grow, thrive, and flourish. I don't want you to do social media. I can get someone else like Profit Gorilla to do it for you and maximize your time.
Right.
That makes
sense?
Like
you're really good at certain things, but I don't want you to do surgery on me.
Absolutely, right. But sometimes entrepreneurs, we get hooked by that because it's a distraction or it's fun or we might be good at it.
Right.
But if it's not your level of expertise, we got to learn to leverage our time because that is the most, money is important, time is more important. Because I could go to a restaurant, have a terrible meal, spend $300, right? I can make that money back. I can't make that time back.
Correct.
That is
Right.
it, and I'm a dad, you're a dad, you were commenting how quick, your
Oh,
girl
yeah.
was like a young woman
She's
now.
gonna be 26 tomorrow.
Right, and
I mean, yours is up
is
there already.
4 going on 14.